Okay, I'm doing the Super Nintendo games in two parts because, quite frankly, I had a really hard time splitting up, trying to cover the good, the bad, the weird, all in one shot. So this first part is pretty much the cream of the crop. Obviously, Super Nintendo had over 700 titles. So these are the ones that, if you want polished quality games or games that are unique, these are the ones that I like having in my library. Obviously, we've got Mario World was bundled with the system as an amazing game, but one of the greatest games I made for the system was A Link to the Past. Truly an amazing title. Quality. Yoshi's Island, Mario World 2, very colorful. Other than Baby Mario screaming, it's an excellent game. Puzzle games, Tetris, Dr. Mario, a great 2-pack. Jumping ahead to other companies that make quality games. Again, Capcom made several outstanding games. The Mega Man X series. This is the first one. They made actually 3 Mega Man X games for the system. Contra III. Even though there was 3 Contra games on the Nintendo, Contra Force obviously was just kind of like a side game. But Contra 3 is a mix of side-scrolling and overhead view, and it's classic Contra. It's good stuff. Obviously, for fighting games, it doesn't get much better than Street Fighter II Turbo. A really good arcade port, classic. And then we got some, and then obviously Super Castlevania IV. I have a sealed copy. Again, a lot of these games were sequels, but they were really good sequels. And I think that's what makes the Super Nintendo library so great, is it took all the classic games that people played on Nintendo and gave them better graphics and continued the storyline. You cannot talk about a Super Nintendo library unless you talk about the RPGs, and boy did they have some of the best RPGs to date. This is a kind of a combination of Square and Nintendo getting together and making Super Mario RPG just a classic, excellent game. Obviously, you can't talk about RPGs without mentioning this guy, Chrono Trigger, one of the best RPGs ever. Truly amazing game. Ogre Battle, March of the Black Queen, a great kind of hybrid strategy RPG. Several Final Fantasy games on the Super Nintendo. This is my favorite. I like Final Fantasy III. Secret of Mana. This kind of shows you a little bit about. Typically, there was a paper tray with a boxed game. It would come with a dust sleeve, a plastic dust sleeve, and instruction manual, and it's usually other advertising goodies and a map. For some of the RPGs would come with a map. But obviously, one of my favorite in my collection is my boxed Earthbound, which is fairly new. And what's great about the Earthbound, it came with this huge box, and it came with this awesome strategy guide. And what's kind of neat about my strategy guide is they came with these scratch and sniff stickers. And yes, mine still have them. And anyways, this will be the first part of 2 talking about Super Nintendo games. Some other classics you have to mention for the good Super Nintendo games. Obviously the Mario All-Stars, Mario World Kart, Donkey Kong Country, Killer Instinct, a great fighting game that sometimes gets overlooked. Amazing. Other Grail RPGs, Evo, obviously is a very sought after game now, and Harvest Moon made its appearance on Super Nintendo. A lot of people don't know that. Shooter fans had several choices on the Super Nintendo. Strike Gunner STG, an R-Type 3. A lot of people bought Super R-Type. I actually like this one. It's much more harder, but I like it. Space Megaforce, Axlay, and then you know, again, a lot of games don't have to be necessarily expensive to be classics. Obviously, Starfox, Ken Griffey Major League Baseball, excellent game. Gotta do a shout out for Super Metroid, Pilot Wings, Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I think that's the first game that I broke my controller on. And they actually made a Super Star Wars trilogy on the Super Nintendo, and Super Empire Strikes Back's my favorite. And that kind of wraps up some of the classics on the system. Forgot to mention Mr. Do. And Mr. Do is a really good arcade port and a really late release. I like it. I also like the arcade game. Doesn't get enough credit. And then this guy is pretty rare. It's just pretty much a slightly updated graphics of the Ninja Gaiden trilogy on the Nintendo. And the nice thing about this cart is it has a save feature, which is very, very helpful. Well, hope this wraps it up. Thank you for looking.